One line came in the context of a greater story, hit me like a ton of bricks, and I've been chewing on it for a couple months now. And so powerful it is. I guarantee I've learned something, and something has become dramatically more clear, and you guys are going to benefit from it just like I did, but I got to get it off of my chest.
You do guns. Everybody knows that. War stories with John. Dust in the air, rounds whizzing past you.
It's like Pandora's box unfolded. It's just all the goodies.
So, have you ever been wrecked by a children's story? It's quite humbling. It happened to me about 2 months ago. I was reading from the Chronicles of Narnia, a story called A Horse and His Boy, to my sons. And as I'm reading this children's story, one line came in the context of a greater story, hit me like a ton of bricks, and I've been chewing on it for a couple months now. And so powerful it is. I guarantee I've learned something, and something has become dramatically more clear, and you guys are going to benefit from it just like I did, but I got to get it off of my chest. So let me tell you just a short little story. There is a war horse named Bree. And Bree has fought in many battles and is kind of chest-beating bravado. I am brave, I am strong, I am powerful. But later in the book, there is this scary kind of interchange battle, being chased by a lion. And Bree completely loses his head, freaks out, and runs away. While meanwhile, this little boy runs toward the danger, and Bree can't really recover from the shame of it all. Then enters this lion that had originally been the one chasing him, and this lion isn't just a normal lion. This lion is as big as a VW bus, bigger than a horse. And this is the messianic figure. This is the God of that story. It is really a type of Jesus. So this lion comes in and is confronting Bree and telling Bree to come forward, and Bree is humiliated and ashamed and doesn't want to confront this great lion. And so the lion answers, "Don't you dare, not dare, come to me." And that's basically the thing. And I just kind of stopped when I read that line of "do not dare, not dare." And I just froze. And my sons are like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "Something hit me." And so that's what I've been mulling over of in life, in every attribute I can really even think of occupation, of fear, of combat, of faith, of relationships. All of it requires a certain amount of daring. You can't afford not to take risks. I was rock climbing out in Washington State many years ago, and I was lead climbing up this big face, and there was one move, it was out of reach. I couldn't quite get to it, and I was scared. I'm kind of like, man, if I fall here, of like plus the flex of the rope to my last place that I hitched in, that's going to be a 30-foot fall or so. And that's not fun. I've taken them before, but I didn't want to fall 30 feet. And so I just kind of froze, and I'm thinking, all right, is there a better way to get to this hold? Because it was kind of like a go for it, and I don't know if I was going to be able to latch on. And so anyway, I just waited a moment. And as I'm starting to wait and just thinking about it more and more and wondering, is there another way, my left leg starts to kind of sewing machine. That's where it starts doing this, like the muscles are fatiguing, and I'm realizing I'm not getting any stronger here. I'm getting weaker by the moment. And if I don't dare to reach out and grab that handhold, I'm sunk. I mean, anyway, I went for it, and I totally lost it, and I crashed and burned totally. Very scary fall, but anyway, I survived. But the point is if I hadn't have hesitated and waited, perhaps my muscles would have been able to bear to take that risk. But instead, I laid stagnant. I didn't do it when I had the strength. I didn't dare to dare, and there was a great cost to not daring. So you can take that and put that story, whether it's the story of Bree or me sucking at rock climbing, and put it over something like a career. You may not be challenged at work, or maybe you're just kind of eking by with status quo, but you're not really rising to a challenge. Now, what happens when you don't dare to take that dare and excel and meet challenge? Because we naturally resisted the challenge. You're like me. We'd like to just kick back, take it easy, find the easier path. That's what we would prefer to do. But when you fail to take challenges head on and grow, The rest of the world is growing around you. Your peers are growing around you. Territory that you were meant to move into is instead moved into by your peers. And you may not notice it right away, but the world is growing around you. And because you didn't dare, you ended up shrinking. There's no such thing as plateau. There's no status quo. You are growing or you are dying. You are in incline or decline. That's it. Your relationships are the exact same way. Take your wife. You may have had that fire early on, but now it's kind of dwindled out and you feel like you're kind of just coasting in your marriage. And that is such a lie. You're not coasting. It's not going to just be okay. Your heart, your soul, it runs on romance. It runs on love. It runs on intimacy. And when it's deprived that, bitterness seeps in and slowly one weekend after another passes you by where you're not pursuing your wife and dating and your relationship is not only not plateauing and growing, it is in decline. You are growing more in love or less in love. There's no status quo. Later you would pay for not daring to step in and love your wife more vulnerably and romantically, with more ferocity. You can't dare not to dare there. Fear is the exact same way. If you're not constantly putting yourself in situations that scare you and grow you, fear is growing. Your courage is slipping. And this could be difficult because, like the great warhorse breed, perhaps you've done brave things in the past, but that doesn't do you anything in the future, because just because you were the hero yesterday doesn't mean you'll play the part of the coward tomorrow. So continually, regardless of resume and what we have done, we've got to keep going on, and fear is that enemy that'll catch you off guard in all kinds of different areas of your life. You may be brave on a battlefield, but not so brave when it comes to talking to girls, because girls are really scary and stuff, or risking something in a business venture. It's scary stuff, but you have to risk, and you can't let fear keep growing as we become these shadows of the men and women we're supposed to become. So I'm hitting all the biggest categories of, career and relationships and personal growth and development. It's also absolutely true with the matters of faith. You are growing more like Jesus or less like Jesus. That's it. More like Jesus or less like Jesus. And this is the difficulty, because it can be extremely terrifying to approach a perfect and terrifying God. That's scary, to live up to say, hey, I'm up for the standard of perfection, and I'm not God and you are high and I am low. And that's a scary thing. But it's something even far, far more scary when we dare not to dare. Now we're becoming enemies of God. That's far more of a risk. That's far more daring than to approach something like a living God. And so anyway, in every area of your life, you can't afford not to dare. Don't you dare not dare. And that is my public service announcement. That's what this book just kind of hit me out of left field with, and that's how I'm growing from a kid's book. Check out Chronicles of Narnia, guys. There's 7 of them. I've been reading to my boys. I waited their whole lives up into this point to read them these stories, and we're having a blast with them. Life is too short to read crappy books. And if you read the right ones, you read the good ones, they can really help guide your hearts, your minds, your souls into greener pastures, right? So guys, love you, warrior poets. We got to grow. We just do. It's uncomfortable and it's hard work, but we got to dare. We got to do it, right? So train hard, train smart, stay free, and let's grow together. See you guys.